High in the frozen spires of the Himalayas, Shiro reigns, a ghost of the mountains, weathered by age and conflict. His kingdom is unforgiving, yet his gaze remains sharp, tempered by seasons of survival. He is a creature forged from stone and ice, standing firm against the mountain's fury. The scar across his face is a map of past victories, each mark a testament to a life lived on the brink. Every placement of his paw is deliberate, learned over decades of navigating these deadly paths. His paws, broad and powerful, are the foundation of his silent authority. The wind carries secrets, the scent of prey, the drift of storm, and the warning of intruders. Alone in the vastness, Shiro appears small, yet his presence fills the mountains. He returns to the landmarks that define his domain, ensuring the boundaries remain clear. A lingering signature of oil and strength, a message left for all who wander his path. His claws, curved and lethal, carve his legacy into the timber of the high slopes. Winter has been harsh, and his reserves are fading, his breath forming clouds in the biting air. Even with the weight of years, his strength remains formidable, defying gravity with ease. His single eye is a beacon of intent, scanning the white expanse for the slightest movement. He spots them, a fleeting chance for life in a world of starvation. He becomes one with the landscape, a shadow moving across the peaks. Patience is his weapon. He closes the distance with agonizing slowness. Every muscle is coiled, prepared for the explosive leap that would seal his meal. His tail acts as a rudder, guiding his weight with precision. A single misstep, and the chance vanishes, the mountain betraying his effort. The prey escapes, leaving Shiro to the hollow ache of hunger. He exhales the frustration, his resolve unshaken by the day's failure. The river is a silent graveyard of winter, his footsteps echoing on the glass-like surface. He finds sustenance in the drip of the ice, a cold comfort in the barren heights. Something is wrong. A scent, musky, intrusive, drifts on the shifting wind. He ascends to investigate, the instinct of a territorial monarch flaring to life. These marks are young, deep, and defiant. The territory has been violated. Rage, hot and primal, surges through him, ignoring the hunger and the exhaustion. It is a declaration of war, a sound meant to shake the very foundations of the peak. He moves with purpose, closing in on the ghost that dares to challenge him. The storm gathers, as if the mountains themselves are waiting for the clash. At the pinnacle of the world, he awaits his challenger. Every sense is tuned, waiting for the crack of a bone or the shift of breath. The rival appears, muscular, confident, the embodiment of a threat. Two worlds collide here, the past versus the future. He bares his fangs, teeth worn by time, but still deadly. He descends to meet the challenge, every step a statement of ownership. Amidst the swirling white, He is an ancient warrior, returning for one last battle. They stand apart, separated by a thin space and a legacy of blood. The roar is arrogant, young, and foolish. Shiro prepares to teach a final lesson. Shiro answers, his voice a deep, vibrating echo of mountain thunder. The force of their defiance brings the mountain itself down around them. The bridge between their worlds is narrow, and the path below is certain death. The blizzard blinds him, but he tracks his foe by the raw rhythm of his heart. He shakes off the storm, his vision clear, his purpose singular. The challenger waits, an immovable force of youth and vanity. He recognizes the strength in the young leopard's shoulders. This will be his final challenge. But Shiro has something the young rival lacks: the unyielding, iron will of a king. The dance begins. Muscles bunch beneath his thick, snow-dusted hide. He is the mountain, immovable, defiant, and ancient. They orbit each other, testing the defenses, seeking the fatal opening. Every breath is fuel, every exhale, a measure of the cold reality they share. His teeth are weapons forged in a lifetime of survival, still capable of delivering the final blow. He feints, a master's maneuver that reveals the rival's momentary doubt. His body burns with the heat of the hunt, melting the storm as he prepares for the end. He is Shiro, the ghost, the king, the conqueror of the highest slopes. Behind him, the void. Before him, the challenger. There is only forward. He digs in, finding the rock, finding the base for his final stand. The world pauses, held captive by the impending eruption of violence. In his eye, he sees not just a rival, but the inevitability of his own history. The smallest crack in the silence, yet his focus does not waver. He signals his intent. The time for patience has expired. The challenger moves, and Shiro rises to meet him, a storm of fur and fury. With one final surge of ancestral power, he commits to the air. He is the legend of the peaks, ready to cement his name in the eternal frost. Even here, at the end, he remains the master of his domain. All that he was, all that he fought to be, converges in this singular moment of instinct. He screams his dominance to the gods of the mountains. The collision of generations. The old king meets the new claimant. For a heartbeat, he hangs in the sky, a king reclaiming his summit. It is a brutal dance, the final act in a life defined by the peak. The agility of a master, the ferocity of a survivor. He leverages the weight of his experience, an unyielding wall against the youthful storm. Shiro remains the heartbeat of the Himalayas, forever the master, forever the ghost.
Alone in the white fury of the peaks, Shiro stands as the last bastion of a fading era.
The years have carved their toll into his skin, yet his spirit remains etched in granite. He draws his mantle tight, a final barrier against the mountain's relentless reach. Each breath is a struggle, a fleeting cloud of warmth dissipating into the void. He pulls the steel, an artifact of ancient battles, now heavy with the weight of winter. Every advance is a fight against the terrain, a testament to his fading strength. His senses sharpen, cutting through the white haze to find the shadow that stalks him. The adversary emerges, a specter in the storm, mirroring his own grim resolve. Blade held high, he prepares for the final exchange, waiting for the world to turn to violence. His eye is cold, unblinking, a predator's focus that demands respect. He lunges, abandoning caution for the raw, desperate momentum of a master. Steel rings out, a harsh, discordant note in the symphony of the storm. He channels the power of his past, muscles straining against the cold and the crushing force of his foe. A lifetime of survival guides his movement, a fluid shift that cheats death once more. He pivots, turning momentum into a lethal arc, the signature of a veteran. Steel sparks in the gloom, a brief, blinding illumination of their mortal struggle. He finds his footing on the treacherous slope, recalibrating the dance of death. Heat radiates from him, a desperate fire trying to survive the absolute cold. He deflects the blow, a calm, calculated response to the opponent's blind aggression. The force of youth outweighs his age, but he refuses to yield his ground.
Beneath him, the mountain is a trap, smooth and unyielding.
He strikes again, driven by a will that refuses to be extinguished by the blizzard. His blade carves a path through the storm, seeking the chink in the rival's armor. The impact jars him, a painful reminder of his mortal limits. For a heartbeat, he falters, the mountain pressing in on his tired lungs. He rises, his stare unbroken, a king who does not know how to bow. The storm conspires to hide his foe, testing his focus to the absolute limit. He throws everything into a final, desperate surge of power. The pressure is overwhelming. The mountain demands a price for his stubbornness.
Behind him, the abyss beckons, a final, silent witness to the end. He measures his remaining space. There is no retreat, only the drop.
He stands against the tide of iron, a statue of defiance in a world of ice. The ground gives way, the fragile edge trembling beneath their combined weight.
The descent begins with a single stone, a herald of his own mortality.
He fights the pull of gravity with every fiber of his being. He is empty, spent, yet the fight demands a final toll. He coils his power for a last, singular act of survival. Locked in a stalemate, They stand as the masters of this frozen theater.
The mountain speaks, a tremor that shakes the very marrow of his bones. High above, the crown of the world begins to fracture.
His eyes find the white wall of doom, rushing downward to erase them both. A cascade of white destruction, indifferent to their battle, sweeps everything away. In this moment, the duel is forgotten, replaced by the singular drive to survive the mountain's wrath.
He sees the end coming, not in steel, but in the crushing weight of the snow.
There is no path. There is only the choice of how he meets his final fate. Caught between two forms of inevitable destruction, he prepares for the impact. He braces, a final act of grounding against the overwhelming force of nature. The world turns to white, a blinding blanket of ice that claims everything. A premonition of death arrives, a chilling wind that heralds the coming wall. The rivalry vanishes, rendered meaningless by the scale of the disaster. He trusts his life to the steel, holding on as the mountain tears itself apart. He stares into the maw of the storm, unblinking even as the world disappears. The weight of the world hits him, cold, sudden, and complete. He is tossed by the tide, a small creature fighting the ocean of the summit. The predator becomes the prey, both of them reduced to dust by the mountain's whims.
The earth splits, a jagged rift revealing the raw, dark depths beneath.
A final, instinctual jump, the difference between life and the abyss.
He stands on the edge of a new reality, separated by the chasm from his foe.
The battle is over, ended not by sword, but by the shattering of the mountain.
His fingers numb, he holds on, anchored only by his will to endure.
He emerges from the brink, a survivor of the mountain's unpredictable fury. Across the divide, he seeks a sign, a trace of the life he was just battling. They are both broken, both alive, and both forever changed by the slide. Steel remains, a relic of the conflict that the mountain has rendered obsolete. Exhausted, he reaches out for the familiar weight, his last remaining companion. He rises, scarred and weary, but still standing on the summit. The landscape has changed, rearranged by the avalanche into an alien beauty. His rhythm returns, the steady heartbeat of a ghost who has seen the end. Alone at the top of the world, he is the master of a kingdom that knows no mercy. He reflects on the abyss, on the thin line he has walked his entire life. His image is etched in frost, a warrior who has outlasted the mountain itself. He moves on, toward the horizon that beckons, ever the wanderer of the snow. He becomes one with the storm, a myth returning to the silence of the peaks.
He is the mountain, and the mountain is his, forever and always.
Shiro, a guardian of the heights, stands defiant against the cold, his silhouette a testament to an ancient, untamed spirit. He searches the horizon, reading the signs of a mountain that knows no mercy.
The sky darkens, signaling a storm that threatens to reclaim the heights.
With rhythmic precision, he navigates the drifts, every movement etched by a lifetime of survival. Two titans of the peaks meet, locked in a gaze that speaks of ancient rivalries and unspoken challenges. He warns the encroaching stranger, his growl a primal assertion of his sovereignty. The air crackles with tension. The ice offers no room for error. He closes the distance, testing the resolve of the one who dares challenge him. His ears twix. The mountain itself is beginning to break. The summit yields, releasing a cataclysm of ice destined to bury the path beneath. Survival becomes a desperate race against the fury of nature's descent. He maneuvers with desperate agility, seeking a path that does not lead to the void. The mountain debris rains down, turning his home into a landscape of lethal projectiles. His footing fails, and he is swept toward the edge by the relentless momentum. Every muscle fights to stay anchored, a futile battle against gravity's call. The cold bites into his lungs, but he refuses to let the mountain win.
A single miscalculation, and the ground vanishes from beneath him.
He is carried toward the brink, his world narrowing to the edge of the abyss. He leaves raw gashes in the ice, a final, futile attempt to claim purchase.
Gravity takes hold, and the master of the peak finds himself falling into the dark. A jarring halt. He hangs by a sliver of stone, suspended between life and oblivion.
A tiny, fragile life clings to the face of the massive, indifferent cliff. Panic clouds his vision, his remaining eye wide with the sudden reality of his end.
The ledge is crumbling, piece by piece, beneath his frantic weight.
His call is swallowed by the storm, lost to the unforgiving height.
The rival arrives, looking down from the heights where Shiro once ruled.
He prepares for the final shove, expecting the cruelty he has shown to others. But the beast does not strike. Instead, it watches with a gaze that seems to measure the gravity of the moment. In the depth of the gaze, he finds something unexpected. Recognition, not enmity. They are bound now, not by rivalry, but by the weight of this singular, perilous existence.
Time is fading, the ledge eroding into dust beneath his tired paws.
The rival leans into the void, a testament to raw, undying strength. A bridge made of muscle and resolve reaches down to pull him from the dark.
He rises, drawn back from the precipice by the strength of the one he once feared.
Every inch gained is a struggle, his claws scraping for purchase in the hard, frozen slope. He feels the shuddering exertion of his savior, a sacrifice made without hesitation.
He clears the gap, pulled onto the solid ground of the plateau.
He sees the cost, raw, torn flesh from the grip used to save a life. Safe, yet shaken, he stands before the one who traded blood for his survival.
He rests, his body spent, the adrenaline slowly yielding to the bitter mountain cold. The mountain remains, but the world has shifted beneath him.
He studies the savior, the rival, the stranger, the kin he never knew. Understanding dawning, strength is not just for the conquest, it is for the preservation of life itself. He rises, shedding the cold, ready to acknowledge the debt he now carries. In the silence of the peaks, he offers a gesture of peace, a bow to his unexpected savior. The savior stands, unbroken by the cost, a living monument to duty. A bridge built in the shadow of death, connecting two souls forged in the mountain snow. He grants him the path, honoring the quiet dignity of a hero. The journey continues, but the weight of his legacy has been forever altered. He watches until the mist claims him, a ghost returning to the silence. Marks left behind, a trail of honor in the vast, white canvas.
Upward, into the shroud, the master of the peak vanishes into legend.
Power is not the grip that crushes, but the strength that pulls others toward the sun. He stands in the quiet, the vastness of the mountain reflecting the depth of his change. Nature obscures the past, but the lesson remains, etched in his memory forever. He feels the cold, but for the first time, it does not chill his spirit.
His territory is unchanged, yet he sees it with new eyes, a place of shared survival.
In the quiet, he finds a new purpose, a legacy worthy of the gift he received. He is no longer just a king of rock. He is a protector of the heights. He moves with dignity, the guardian of a summit that now feels like home. Toward the summit, where the earth meets the sky, he looks with hope. A final farewell, a silent acknowledgement between two spirits of the snow.
He stands, a sentinel, waiting for the dawn to break across the ridges.
Serenity settles in, the clarity of a soul that has faced death and found grace. The greatest strength is the kindness that anchors the falling. He walks through the silent pines, his path now cleared by the weight of gratitude. A glance toward the ledge, a silent thank you to the mountain and the one who mastered it.
His warmth is real, a living defiance of the frozen world.
He is the new guardian, a king who leads with the heart of a survivor.
The world warms under the setting sun, a promise of new beginnings.
As shadows lengthen, he finds peace in the quiet rhythm of the wild. Under the vast canopy of stars, he is part of a grander, older story. A life spared is a life dedicated to the mountain that spared it. A tribute, a call of gratitude that rings across the kingdom he protects. Shiro, the noble king, master of the heights, forever watching over his snowy realm.